What's up everybody, my name is Breanna Rutter, and in this tutorial I'm going to show you how to do your braid pattern when doing sew-ins. Now for this look particular, I'm going to be doing an invisible part sew-in, but any type of sew-in works for this braid pattern because it's a universal braid pattern. But I got a lot of tips and tricks I need to show you. So the very first thing you want to do is make sure that you part where you want your part to actually show. I want to have a middle part instead of a side part. So now what I'm doing is I'm prepping some braiding hair, and it can just be some old braiding hair you've used before. You just need a little bit, not a lot. Now the reason why you need braiding hair is because you want to significantly limit the amount of actual matting you may have on your roots, especially if you have natural hair or you have relaxed hair but your roots are natural. So first I'm braiding two small braids that are at the perimeter of my head near my edges, and I'm making sure that when I'm braiding, I'm actually braiding pretty loosely, meaning that the braid has a flat appearance when you look at it with the naked eye. So just imagine this for a moment. You know when you get your hair freshly braided and then you go to sleep and wake up and the top of your braids look a little flat? That's the look I want to go for when I'm braiding the side braids right here, because I want it to be as flat as possible so that when I sew in my hair, there is no lift near my hairline. Now as you're braiding your hair, you also want to make sure that you're smoothing out any other hairs that are starting to stick over into the braids, just so your braids are neat. And you're not going to braid it all the way down, you're going to stop at about the halfway point. So now you're going to continue braiding your braids going around your ears. But as you're parting your hair, you want your part to actually get a little bit wider and then a little bit more narrow at the back. So that way your braids are going from thin to wider to thin so that you can braid all the way to the back of your head. So that's why you don't want to braid this particular braid to the ends, because you're going to continue braiding going around your ear. Make sure that when you're braiding, you're not braiding too tight, because when you do sew-ins, it actually makes your braids feel a little tighter. So you always want to braid slightly loose, so that way you won't have any pain on your scalp once you actually begin sewing in your hair extensions. So now you're almost past your hair, and you don't have to worry about if you have any flyaways, because you're not going to notice it once you sew down your hair. You just want to make sure that you're braiding past your hair, but not all the way to the ends. And I'm going to show you why later. You don't want to braid any of your braids to the ends. So far, this is how your two perimeter braids should look. And these are going to be the smallest braids on your head. So that way the hair around your edges is as flat as possible, no lift. So now we're going to continue braiding on the opposite side, and as you can see here, I have all of my braids going away from my middle part. And with this braid pattern, this is a no leave out braid pattern, so this is going to work for full sew-ins, for lace closure sew-ins, or any other looks where you don't want to have leave out. For this look in particular, I'm actually doing the invisible part sew-in. So now as you're braiding your braid, making sure that your part actually gets a little smaller at the back, you're then going to grab that next braid you see here. Remember, you don't want to braid any braids until the end. So you're going to loop that braid into the next one, and you're going to continue doing this so that way when you braid all of your cornrow braids, you only have a few tail end of braids left over, so it's easy to pin them down to your braid pattern. This also helps to distribute bulk, as you can see here. So I'm grabbing two braids and I'm crossing them over just to distribute the weight and size, because I don't want it to feel bulky or look bulky, so that my entire sew-in is flat. This is one of my best kept secrets when it comes to doing the braid pattern for sew-ins, is you want to distribute the weight or size of your braid with using a latch hook. So now that all of my braids are pinned down, this is how your braid pattern should look. The braids should be smallest on the side and get a little thicker as you progress going to the back of your head. This helps give you some natural lift at the back, so that way your sew-in looks extremely beautiful and contoured to your head. If you want to see this full tutorial, check out previous videos, because I got some fire stuff coming on the way, and I can't wait to catch y'all next time. Bye!